Output, design, parallel. I'm going to create a series of points and links which run parallel to existing links within the current survey. And I'm going to load those points and links back into the current survey. Therefore, I don't want to define a new LSS survey or an existing survey. I select parallel, and I need to decide now what the offset is going to be between the existing link and the new link. I'm going to create a line which is 1/2 meter offset inside of this rectangle. So my horizontal offset will be 0.5. The vertical offset can be a difference between the reference line and the new line, so this will be plus or minus. The level for the offsetted line can be from the current survey, from another survey, or a fixed datum value, that's a fixed level, or indeed from a tilted plane. So I'm going to get the levels from the current survey, and I can choose now whether I want to create point features only or points with a link, and if so, which features do I want to use. I'm going to use the same feature on the designed line as I am the reference line. If I'm going to effectively walk around the outside of this feature in a clockwise fashion, then I want the feature to be inside, therefore to my right. So I select to the right, and the maximum interval value is really quite important. If you want it to create points on the inside at a fixed interval, then you can type that interval here. It will create points at that fixed interval plus additional points where it needs to in order to define that parallel feature. If you leave it at the default, which is usually 20 meters, then it will put a point in a maximum of 20 meters, but it may put extra points in between that 20 meter value, because in this case, if this feature is less than 20 meters long, then it will need to create points in order to turn this corner. So I'll change it to 1. Do I want a closed loop or not? Well, yes, I do want a closed loop, and I'll come on to the mitering of external corners later on. Now I can go point to point, or in this case 2-point string, which is the default mode selected, or I would prefer to use the whole string option. And if you're using whole string, it's important to place the cursor at the correct end of the chosen link. If I place the cursor at this end of this link, then the arrow points anti-clockwise. Because I want to put the feature to my right on the inside, then I need to move the cursor to this far end, which will force it to go clockwise. The circle and the square means that it's starting and ending at the same position. Single click, and you will see the points created parallel to the reference line on the inside at 1/2 meter offset. If I now want to put features on the outside, I can leave all of the parameters the same, but just remember that I want to design to my right. Therefore, to go on the outside of this one, I need to force the arrow to go anti-clockwise. And you will see on this external corner that it has created a curved line, because what it's doing by not selecting miter external corners, it has created that 1/2 meter offset all the way around the corner. Please bear in mind as well at this stage that these points that I've just created are not available to be snapped on yet because I haven't loaded them. They will only become available when I have completed this exercise and loaded the load file I'm creating. If I go back and undo the last options, this time I miter external corners, you will now see that it has created a miter on that external corner. I can now load, and you will now see that these generated points have been loaded into the current survey.